Thanks, Pete. And final speaker, Mark Hennen.
Good evening. Thanks for this opportunity. Since my time is short here, I thought I would just focus on a couple of areas that I think are most important. And I'll start with community involvement. I think that's probably the single most important thing that a city council member needs to have. And I've been civically engaged since my 20s, actually. In my earlier years, it was mostly kid-related organizations and their schools. But since I moved to Poway in 2008, just from across the freeway, which I lived for 17 years as well, so I've been around this area for over 30 years. I've served in Poway's CERT program for over 15 of those years. I've been on the Poway Senior Center Board for 4 years. I've served on the Budget Review Committee, and I've also recently just completed the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee. So I kind of know Poway. I feel very comfortable with the daily operations of understanding what happens in Poway on a daily basis. I also understand how the city operates during times of adversity. And then how the city, of course, plans for the short and the long term. The crash course in the Budget Review Committee was pretty eye-opening and very intense, actually. So I think that gave me a lot of insight. It's also given me the opportunity over the last 15 years to work with all the different levels of city staff, at some level at least, to get to know who they are, to learn what their accomplishments have been, what their challenges are. And we all tend to live in our own little bubbles, I think, and we kind of ignore those things that don't really pertain to us on a daily basis. But I think my exposure over the last 15 years has given me some more sensitivity to other communities and the other neighborhoods within Poway, to have a little more empathy and a little more interest in their feedback. Professionally, before you, with the application process, you receive lots of pages of very impressive resumes. I don't have a resume. I haven't had a resume since in the 1980s, so you didn't get one from me. But that's because I've mostly been a small business owner, and as a small business owner, I understand having to wear many hats and being very self-sufficient. And I think that brings a lot to the table. And I know what it's like to have employees and to be responsible for their livelihoods, and which is easy in good times, but it's not so easy in times of bad. My business, I only have 12 seconds, so I'm going to run out of time, but my business demands a very high level of ethics, honesty, integrity, diligence, competence. Those are all things that I take very seriously in my personal life and my professional life. So my time's up. So thank you.
Thank you. That completes the presentations by the applicant.